Hello and welcome to The Traveling Introvert. Today I want to talk about books. I'm actually really surprised that I have yet to talk about books on the podcast. I love to read. I would say as a child I read vicariously. I was actually a member of 2 libraries where you could take out 12 books. I think it was 8 or 12 books each time you went. And so apparently I read a lot, so I had to be a member of 2 libraries. As an adult, I still love to read. I don't get to read as much as I would like to. I am part of a virtual book club, which forces me to read books that wouldn't be under my normal, sort of in my normal ring of things that I would read, which is great. And I discover new things because of it. But I do love to read. And so what I would love to do is talk a little bit about books that are around introversion. So I didn't really discover that I was an introvert, to use the phrasing, or more introvert leaning, until possibly 6 or 7 years ago. So quite recently for me. And the only reason I discovered this is because I read a book. And so the book was Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. You know, that book made me realize, I'd sit and read and I'd be like, oh, that's why my parents did this. And oh, that's why I feel like that. And it gave me a clarity that I'd never had before. So I'd love to recommend that book to anyone to read, introvert or extrovert, just humans to read. Just to give you a little insight into how other people might think and how other people will view things. Just seeing the world from a different point of view is hugely helpful. So that's just one book. And then there is The Introvert's Edge, How the Quiet and Shy Can Outsell Anyone. And that is by Matthew Pollard and Derek Lewis. That's a really interesting book because there's always the theory that introverts can't do sales jobs and introverts can't sell. And it's not the case. It's basically we might listen in a different way, and we might observe in a different way, and just learning what your skill is and how you work it. Anyone can sell, it just depends. They just need to find their right way of doing it that works for them. And then there is a third book that I would love to recommend almost is The Introvert Advantage, How Quiet People Can Thrive in an Extrovert World. And that is by Marty Olson-Laney. And basically it's appreciate yourself. Take time out, be playful, know yourself and figure out what works for you, how to recharge, when to recharge. These are all important things to learn and to know. And I think it gets kind of lost especially in today's world where your phone's always pinging and your computer's always on, and the boundaries between work life and home life are definitely blurred, and even more so for people who work from home. And so just learning to take a breath is super helpful. I think this is something we forget a lot. And I know there's a book I got recommended recently that has gone on my list of things that I want to read. And I'm going to try and find it. I think it's called Pause. I'm going to look for my list. Sadly to say, I'm on my computer right now looking for my list. But that is a book that I was just like, oh, wow, yeah, that's totally something that I want to do and need reminding of, which is really quite sad that I need reminding of it. So I think that's something that is really helpful to do. Just take a pause and think about stuff and what you need and what you don't need and what works for you. And the other thing that I would like to recommend, of course, would be my own book, Events for Introverts, The How-To Guide to Networking. And it's not just about sort of networking in person, though that is one of the main things, but also how to network online. Networking is something that is uncomfortable and feared, and just like sales, it's learning what works for you, how networking can work for you, and setting aside all the expectations that people have that you have to stay till the end, or you have to hand out all the cards, or whatever it is that you have to do, and just finding what works for you and using that. So I would love to hear any book recommendations you have. Please email me at janice@thecareerintrovert.com. I need more books on my list because I'm going to be buying a bunch come Cyber Monday. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your week.